Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers here today. I'm Fiona Langsharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be sitting down with fellow Canadian here today, Dr. Catherine Pound, and she is going to be speaking at our upcoming Gold Obstetrics Conference. Now, before we get to talk to Catherine, I will tell you that, of course, this conference is open for registration, and you can find it online right now at goldobstetrics.com with all the details of the up and coming event and all of our speakers. Now, Dr. Pound is going to be here speaking on a very special subject matter, one that's very close to my heart, of course. And she's actually going to be part of a specialized package as well. So that package is actually titled Breastfeeding Medicine Advancing Your Level of Care Lecture Pack. And you can find it as part of our Gold Obstetric Conference. Well, welcome to you, Catherine. It's so good to have you here at Gold Obstetrics.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, and as I mentioned, of course, this being an IBCLC lactation professional myself, it just really, I mean, we could talk about it all day, I'm sure, but I know that this is going to be part of what you're speaking on. Um, the title of your presentation, Supporting Exclusive Breastfeeding, What Has a Physician Got to Do? So I know that you're going to be talking directly about physicians and how they can incorporate it into their profession as well and into their practice. But first of all, why don't we have you introduce yourself to all of our viewers here today, and perhaps you can tell them where you are in the world and what your day-to-day practice looks like.
Sure. So I'm a pediatrician and I work at our local children's hospital here in Ottawa, the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. My day-to-day practice has changed considerably since the pandemic, but I think that's the same for
Everybody,
everybody.
yes.
Yeah. So typically, when COVID is not raging everywhere, I spend some time doing some clinical medicine on the wards of our hospital, meaning when children are admitted to the hospital, then I will take care of them for a week at a time, rotating with
Okay.
my physician colleagues. The rest of the time, I spend doing some teaching or doing research, and most of my research is focused on breastfeeding promotion. Um,
Ah, that's
and
wonderful.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Often in our experience, or it has been, definitely in the past, we don't always find pediatricians connecting the dots to breastfeeding. And in fact, we haven't had always that consistency of care in breastfeeding with our pediatricians because I feel a lot of it is, they find a way in order to protect the child, and of course that means feed the child or a supplement. And often that would mean with not using breast milk per se, if there is a presentation of an issue. How did you first get involved in, looking at breastfeeding and sort of incorporating it? And do you get an opportunity to sort of do that within your practice as well?
Great question. Yeah, so it's actually interesting how I got involved into this was a personal story, really, where I had my own child and struggled with breastfeeding and really wanted to breastfeed and had difficulty finding help with family physicians, pediatricians, and also people assuming that I knew what I was doing because I was a pediatrician, which
Hmm.
really led me to understand um, that there was a lack of teaching or a lack of knowledge, essentially.
Mm,
And, just coming out of school, I just finished my residency. I thought, well, really, I should know this, right? How come I don't?
right.
And because it isn't taught. And how come my physician colleagues can't help me? So that was my personal experience. And I thought, okay,
Mm,
well, maybe this is just something personal, right? Like, doesn't mean that the
right.
rest of the country is like this. And over time, through actual rigorous studies, then we were able to establish that yes, indeed, there is a problem, not just with pediatricians, but with physicians in general and also other healthcare professionals. I'm focusing on physicians here because that's where my studies were focused. Excuse me, but it is a much wider problem.
Hmm.
And through the establishment of those studies, the development of those studies, we were able also to figure out what exactly was lacking and start building on this to have tools to address this.
That's fantastic. And I have to say that within Canada, I've actually seen quite a big movement in terms of resources, practical online education. I mean, that's really what we're doing here, of course, is that we're promoting it too through our Gold Obstetrics Conference and making sure that there is that package available and folks can really move forward. But tell me, why would a physician want to? Because I think maybe there's a little bit of a myth involved that they have enough information. But if you're a new physician today or an upcoming physician, why would you want to sort of get engaged and start looking at this information? Is there still a gap in some of the care and education that they're doing?
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in my presentation. But there definitely is a gap. There's a problem in the sense that there's so many things to learn when you go through residency. I think some things are forgotten. And I think, unfortunately, health promotion is a topic that gets a little bit pushed to the side because we're so focused on acute care.
Right.
I think what's positive, though, is over time, there seems to be more of an appetite, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in my presentation as well, where residents realize that it is a problem. They want more education.
Hmm.
Now it's just a matter of delivering it.
Yeah, I think right across the board, there seems to be this increased demand. We hear from many physicians who have birthed themselves and find the gap, in care themselves, and then get really motivated, like you have, to sort of see what we can do next. Well, I'm very excited that you're going to be with us. And of course, this package, exclusively breastfeeding medicine, advancing your level of care. So it's going to be a great package with phenomenal speakers, international speakers, including yourself, Catherine. And we're just delighted that, of course, you'll be here from Canada as well. So thank you so much, really, for being with me here today and talking about this important topic.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great.
And thank you to all of our viewers here today. And don't forget, you can find out all the details of what's coming up at our obstetrics conference, including our keynotes as well. You can find all the information for registration at goldobstetrics.com and check out this amazing package, of course, that Dr. Catherine Pound is going to be a part of as well. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us here today. Bye bye for now.
Bye.